In this session of Lakes 101, we're dealing with fish food. What food's available to trout in lakes? I've put together a handy graphic. If you'll take a look at your screen, you'll notice I have it organized in two boxes. One's green, and that covers the food that's available to trout year-round. And the red box on the right is meals of opportunity. We're going to start in the green box, food that's available year-round. In the left-hand column, we have insects that have an adult phase. They live the majority of their lives in the water and then at some point hatch to become adults, fly off, mate, and then come back to the lake to lay eggs. In the right-hand column are creatures that are available to trout year-round that do not have an adult phase. They live their entire lives under the surface of the lake. Today we're going to start with leeches. Leeches can be prolific in fertile lakes. As a matter of fact, there can be thousands per square yard of lake bottom. They live the majority of their lives near the bottom, but occasionally they'll be found in all levels of the water column. They're slow swimmers, and they make an easy target for trout when they're available. They come in a variety of colors. They can be black, brown, tan, olive, or gray. They can be anywhere from ½ an inch long to 4 inches long. They undulate slowly to swim, so any pattern used to imitate a leech should have this quality about it, that it has that kind of motion to it. Now let's go out to the lake for a little bit more.
Hi. Today I'm doing a little winter fishing, and right now, trolling behind me, I've got 2 rods going, both with leeches. I've got a type 3 sinking line with about a 2.5 inch black leech trailing behind it. I'm trying to fish it 10 feet deep, or maybe a little bit deeper than that. And on the other rod, I have a gray and olive balance leech, squirrel tail, that is under an indicator about 6 feet. Now, leeches are, in my estimation, the most productive lake fly there is. Fish just don't seem to refuse a leech. Now, there's an easy reason why. Leeches are very slow swimmers, and they are a big mouth of protein. So if a fish comes across a leech, they're going to take advantage. So one of the great things about a leech is it's a great exploration pattern. And what I mean by that is if you're unfamiliar to water and you're trying to find out where the weed beds are and where the fish are congregating, and you're cruising around the shoreline, the easiest way to do that, to have that mobility to do it and still fish at the same time, would be to drag a leech. It would definitely be the most productive way to do that. Okay, but today I'm fishing a lake that I know pretty well. So I'm not exploring, so why 2 leeches? Well, if you look out at the water over here, you're going to see that there's really no rises going on. There's no hatch. So it's not like I'm missing out on something or missing an opportunity. Leeches might be the most productive way to go right now, since nothing is hatching. And if there is nothing apparently happening, and it's not the time when you'd see a lot of dragonflies migrating or damselflies, and being winter, it's not, then the leech is the way to go, and that's what I'm doing here. Now, I think every lake fly fisherman should have a leech box with various sizes and various styles. Here's mine, and various colors. I even have white leeches. Now, I think those imitate bait fish more than anything else. And the thing is, a leech pattern can be mistaken for a bait fish too, but leeches are leeches, and leeches are, easy prey for trout, and they will hit them. I actually have another box dedicated to leeches. More here. More here. This box happens to be my balanced leech box, and the other box is my more traditional leech box. So, if you're going to fish lakes, you should have a lot of leeches. Go out there and find out what works in the lakes you're going to be fishing. Talk to a fly shop. They'll be able to help you with sizes and colors. and get out there and try them. The other thing I'll say is traditionally, you should be fishing a leech fairly slow, on the move, but slow. And you can either cast and retrieve by hand, or as I'm doing right now, I have a trolling motor set on number 2, which is my second slowest speed, and I'm just kind of motoring around the lake, dragging that leech, looking for a taker. Good luck to everybody out there. We'll see how I do today. I still have them. I still got a fish on. Oh, he's got some size to him too. Doesn't feel huge. The first fish of the day on a slow day like today, I'll take it. Okay, it might be time for me to turn off my motor. Okay, this guy took the standard leech, the 2.5 incher black on the Type 3. That's not a bad fish. Get my, whoa. So I can keep him from tangling in that other line. A lot of spinning. Got him. There she is. She's about 17 and pretty fat. Okay, and that's what that was caught on. Fairly simple little bead head, and that's not a very heavy bead. It doesn't drag it way down. It's not tungsten. My next thing will be, once I finish this lap, and I'm going on my final lap, I will change this gray leech to an olive leech. Let's see how that goes. There's a rising fish right there. Okay, if you just noticed right there, I mended my line. So rather than sweeping away from that fish, it would be closer to that fish. And by doing that, I'm altering the course that fly is going to take. And I still think I was too far away from him, but you never know. There's a single rise back there. Fish came up, took something off the surface. Nothing in the minutes after that. Right now, it looks like opportunistic feeding. Nothing is actually happening. There's no real hatch. But fish, if they come across something, are taking advantage of what they can see. Are they keyed in on chronometers? No. But if they come across an easy meal, will they take a shot at it? Hell yes. So when it's like that, even though occasionally there's a chironomid taken, I think the smart thing to do is, while they're in this opportunistic mode, is to fish a leech. It's a more substantial meal. Okay. I'm going to go from this olive gray to a more olive and a little bit smaller. Let's see what happens. If the status quo isn't cutting it, that lets you know it's time maybe for a change. There's a fish. Okay, on the olive. Good thing we changed, huh? Alright, so hopefully it doesn't get wrapped up in the other line there. Let's turn off the motor. Okay, this guy's not huge. He's a nice little guy. Considering it's been more than an hour without a fish, I'll take it. He's a fighter. Probably 15, 16 range. Healthy. Look at him. Time to pop a bud. Whoa. All right. I don't know that I'll need a net, so I'll just get him off of here. Not a bad fish. Okay, I'm here to help, actually. There you go. All right. A little bit of success. And off we go. Let's look for the next one. There's another fish. All right. That's two on that olive. It seems to be kind of a hot pattern right now. Turn this guy off. Okay. Now he's into that head shaking thing. This fish is a little bit bigger. It's probably about, I don't know, 16, 17. All right. Oh. Oh, she's off. Okay, good. Good. My thoughts when I took off my indicator, I was watching it when the water's glassy like this, and it's putting a V through the water. And there's just a part of me that was going, I wonder if that's at all off-putting to the fish, or, if something doesn't seem quite right about it. If it might make the fish a little bit wary. And I was just afraid that it might be alerting fish that something's not quite right here. Now, most of the time, you're going to have some level of chop on a lake. And you run an indicator, and it's really not, it's hard to detect amongst all the chop that's going on. When it's glossy like that, and they could see that V wake coming off of it, I was just afraid. Maybe it's giving them a little bit of a warning. Oh, hello. I think there's something on here. There is. I got a fish on. 4 fish on today? That's like unheard of. Or am I just snagged in the weeds? I think I'm just snagged in the weeds. Oh my God, weeds all the way out here? No, it's a fish. Not a monster. It's kind of interesting when here, turn off the motor. It's kind of interesting when you're fishing two lines, a sinker and a floater. If they take on the floating line, the fight usually never goes deep enough for it to get involved with the sinking line. But if they take on the sinking line and the floating line's nearby, little tangles like this are kind of bound to happen. Look how thick that fish is. He's no longer involved with that, no longer involved with the floating line. Look at him, that's fat. Not overly long, like 16 inches maybe, 15. So to summarize what you've seen so far, leeches are my #1 lake fly. They're a great exploration fly. So when you're new to a water, the way to proceed is to troll around the edges, dragging a leech behind you, keeping your eyes down on the water so you can look through and find out where the weed beds are. Also, while you're fishing, note where you're detecting strikes. Even if you're not hooking up and landing fish, if you're getting strikes, it's like a Geiger counter. It tells you where the fish are. And fish, it's like not all areas of the lake are created equal. So note where the Geiger counter says the fish are. And if it happens to be one corner of the lake or a certain bank on the lake, come back to that later and fish there. It's also a great fly for when there's no hatch activity going on. There are certain times of the year where, it just seems like there really isn't a major insect hatch going on, and a leech is probably the way to go. Also, if you're expecting a hatch, there are times before and after the hatch occurs where a leech will be probably the preferred pattern. Now, there are two types of leech patterns. The first is the traditional leech. This is a woolly bugger. You'll note that your tippet connects to the eye of the hook at the front. And this fly has to be kept in motion. If it's not kept in motion, the weight of the fly itself will tip it vertical like this. And it's not really in a fishable state. The other type of fly is the balanced leech. And the balanced leech is tied on a jig hook where the eye is up here and there's a weight forward of the eye of the hook that's kind of like a cantilever, and it actually is tied in a way that balances the fly. So when the fly is not in motion, it hangs horizontally. Now, these can be fish trolled, and I've also seen them fished under an indicator with another fly, where this is the bottom fly, with no motion at all, say a chironomid. And then if there's a chop on the water, the action of the chop on the water will bounce this up and down and put a motion in the fly. So other things that were mentioned previously. If you're not getting any action, change things. Change it up if it isn't working. So change the color. Change the depth at which you're fishing. Change the speed that you're trolling or the speed of your retrieve. Whatever it is, if it's not working, change it. Now in this video, you saw me change two things. The first thing I did was change the color and the size of the fly. Went to a smaller fly and changed from a grayish kind of color to an olive, a straight olive fly. The other thing I did was, if you'll notice on the video, it was glassy. The surface was glassy. And I normally fish a balanced leech under an indicator. Well, I noticed that as I was doing this on this glassy water, I was leaving a V wake behind it. And my fly is like, 4 feet under that V. And I thought that might be putting the fish off. So, I don't know if it actually was or it wasn't, because I made too many changes. If I had put that olive fly on and dragged it around for a while and still wasn't getting hit, and then took off the indicator and then found that I was getting hits, that would have told me. But I made two changes at once, and when I did that, I started getting hits. But, if it's not working, as I said, change it up. Find out if something different will do better for you. Okay, the other thing you saw, there was a point where I mended the line. When you're fishing a balanced leech on a floating line, this only works with a floating line, you can actually change the course of the fly by throwing a mend in the line, and the fly will follow the mend, the course of the fly line that's on the water. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments and I'll get back to you. Now, I don't live on my YouTube site, so it may not be right away, but I will get back to you. Now, as a favor to me and the YouTube channel, if you would please hit like and subscribe and hit the notification bell, it helps the channel quite a bit and makes the videos easier to find. And that notification will let you know when the next Lakes 101 episode comes out. Thank you for watching.